Welcome everybody to The Good and the Bad. My name is Mokwena. I am your host, and this is a show where I take you through 5 bad things and 5 good things from one of the matches that happened over the weekend, in the hopes that you guys will give me your good and bad in the comments and tell me what you think of mine. Please be sure to like, share, subscribe, and do all of those really nice things. The match we're going to be looking at today is Mamelodi Sundowns versus Kaizer Chiefs. Mamelodi Sundowns, of course, looking to extend their lead at the top as the form team in the league, and Kaizer Chiefs looking to maybe inspire something by beating Mamelodi Sundowns. Unfortunately for them, the score ended 1-0. Not the bloodbath that everybody was predicting, but a game that we can look at a little bit in depth. So let's get into the bad.
Number 5.
For all of the attacking prowess or the attacking ability Nabi has given to this team, the defense is shaky. The defense will always make a mistake at some point. They'll always be unstructured at some point. I think we need to talk about what it means to be defensive at Kaizer Chiefs. What I will give them credit for is that Dove coming in gave a lot of that ditlokwe impact on the team, in that a lot of the time we're in a back 3. But these two, Miguel and Dortley, need to start talking to each other. I'm from a different school of football. I'm from a school of football where communication trumped tactics. Mauhamba, you tell somebody. If konumuntu hambile, you call somebody else to come and take position. And I think in the ball watching of Kaizer Chiefs, they open up some chances for Abo Ribeiro to run across the defense, and incredible goal. We'll speak about Ribeiro later. But not being able to track runners, not being able to do this, always focused on the ball and not knowing your spaces. This has been the problem with Kaizer Chiefs' defense up to this point. And what Sundowns ended up doing and scoring, they had tried a couple of times, if not for some ill-timed runs from Moreinas. Sundowns did this game try and pop balls over the top and pop balls in behind so that they could catch Chiefs out, knowing that when Miguel moves, Dortley doesn't move properly. When Miguel goes and Dortley goes, there's nobody covering the top of the box, because everybody at Chiefs, everybody does something. This one does this thing alone, and then this one must then figure out how to follow him, and then only this one must figure out how to do, and then only lawyer. That's how you get caught on transition and you get killed on transition. It should be triggering. The moment you see Miguel make a run, Mart, instead of being out of position and pointing, you should be running into that space to close down the top of the box. Frosler, Dove, the moment you see that your guy was beaten and you can tell that Miguel is about to move, everyone must shift together. Everyone must, defending is a team sport, and unfortunately is a team play. But unfortunately what Chiefs does is that we love these one-on-ones because we trust the defense too much. So Nabi needs to implement a system, even if it's just a basic system of one of the CDMs drop into the center when we are defending, and you see when we are defending to allow the center back to run out. The example is Rulani's defense last season. The moment AB has to go out, Kutsia drops back in, and you still got your 2 center backs. If that's too high a grade, make sure that you're not caught off. Keep your backs at the back. Teams have been finding joy with 2-3 man counters. There's no need for us to have 4 people in attack and also the left and right back. So Chiefs needs to fix that leaky defense. I think it's a record-setting tally right now for us in terms of goals conceded, and they concede almost every game. We might be, if I'm not mistaken, one of the teams that have the least clean sheets in the league.
Number 4.
For all of the brilliance that we've spoken about with Mamelodi Sundowns and we praise them for, I think that defense is not as strong as it usually is. One of the key things that Mamelodi Sundowns did last year was that they would deny you chances always. You wouldn't be able to get through. And now Chiefs sat with chances from, I think it was Pule Modi, not making the right choice, Lilepo not making the right choice, Do hitting it over. Where Sundowns got out of that game at 1-0 because Chiefs' finishing was so bad. Not because Sundowns' defense was as great as we know it to be normally. And I know people are going to speak about maybe fatigue, we'll touch on that just now, and all of that stuff, but I think that defense, Suarez, all those guys, are not as solid as we would like to believe. Now, I don't want to take it away from Mamelodi Sundowns because they've only conceded a handful of goals this season. It's not like teams have been scoring left, right, and center. But it's those things where you ask the question, if a player was lucky enough, if was lucky and kept it down, what was going to happen? When you play against the teams that do finish, will you be able to play a game like you did versus the Kaizer Chiefs? So that is just a small thing that Sundowns needs to look at.
Number 3.
They look tired. It was alluded to by the coach that the players couldn't press the way that they wanted to press. You could tell that they were off their pace a little bit. You could tell that something was off there, which is not something that you want to see in these games, especially as the league draws on. Because if they are tired now, what's going to happen in the next few games? Now, luckily for them, the cushion seems to be very large between them and Pirates. But maybe it's a time to trust some other players, especially for other games, man. I know this one may have been looked at as a big game, but maybe this is where Kulis and those guys have to be trusted a lot more. And I know I often complain about them, but maybe you do need to just let them go out there and take responsibility for some of these games, so that, man, you can rest some of the guys, so we can see a high-level Sundowns a lot more often.
Number 2.
Oh, Chiefs can't finish. This whole season, I've been told about box entries. I think that's the buzzword at Kaizer Chiefs this year, is box entries. We're entering the box, we're creating chances, we're doing all of this stuff. But the finishing is not there. If you look at the big chances stats, if you look at the clear-cut chances stats, it's not as rosy as we're making it out to seem. And I think Chiefs enters the box a lot because of how Nabi sort of commits his players. Nabi is a coach that attacks with 4 players. He attacks with Shabalala, Modi, Morris, and Lilepo. Then he has backup from Frosla, and when Cross is on the pitch, he's also there. Sometimes you may even find Mart in the 10. So I don't think that Chiefs' chances are a function of Chiefs playing so well. I think Chiefs' chances are a function of overwhelming the other team, which, to be fair, could be a tactic. But because there's no rhyme or reason or structure, I often say that it Chiefs, when you don't have a thinker like a Sirino there, what happens is that you're going to get a lot of effort. They're going to run into the box, they're going to do everything, but the final pass, the final shot, the final move will always let you down. So you need somebody who can think. You need somebody who can stand in the 10, more than likely, and dictate and play the passes and play off of all of the movement. Or else you're going to go into a game versus Sundowns and come out 1-0 loss, with a 1-0 loss. Now, this is not unique to Chiefs. A lot of teams in the league struggle with decision-making and finishing. But this is something that needs to be rectified. If you're going to do that, because what happens is that Chiefs ends up playing ping pong, in that when you attack the way you attack, when you have to defend, la shota. So hopefully they can fix some of that, and hopefully some of the players can find their shooting boots as well, so that they can take pressure off of the defense and off of the results.
Number 1.
That midfield, the Chiefs, is so unbalanced. It's unbalanced in that You have Cele, an incredible deep-lying playmaker. We'll talk about him just now. But he's not a defensive midfielder. You have Mart, great engine. I think he's a box-to-box 8 for me. But if you ask him to be in the 6, those instincts to want to go forward, those instincts to leave the post, those instincts to point and have somebody else covering you, usually let's say Mtetwa, you start to see that, okay, we don't have defensive cover. I don't know what Ndu's role was meant to be in that game, especially because, man, he was running all over the place, almost without a rhyme or reason. And I think having him there, having somebody there who could have controlled the game a little bit more, would have loved to see Matlou, who's not afraid of the ball, would have loved to see Zwane in an advanced role similar to what Jose Rivero played him, would have given something for Ucele to play out to, or someone to play out to. Deep-lying playmakers, if you're not going to play it over the top, which they didn't do when Patrice came in, but if you're not going to play it over the top, then you need somebody you can play to, who can then take responsibility for the attacking side of the game you're playing. But if that player is not there, then Ucele's strengths, him having the ball, it becomes a little bit useless. It becomes similar to a Polokwane City game where Mtetwa had the ball a lot, but there was no one to pass to because of Marte they hide. So I think Nabi has to look at that that CDM pairing. Maybe you play Mtetwa or you play somebody else and just coach them to stay. I think a lot of the problems that Chiefs, the defense-wise and in the midfield, would be fixed if you could just get the players to just stand in front of the defense and just be there. You don't have to do anything else. So, yeah, the midfield, very unbalanced. Okay, so I know I stopped the video a lot, and a lot of you are wondering, why are you asking for money? So I wanted to show you. I asked for money because I want to do more of this. Huh? But the truth of the matter is that it took over an hour in order just to render that shot. And it takes even longer when I'm doing my normal content because, guys, here's the unsung hero of the channel. And unfortunately, Shem, but the screen is broken. I have to use a second screen and the performance is not up to it. So I'd really love to upgrade things like that. And when you look over here, this is what the setup looks like. Rehenga di patlo and rehenga di green screen, which is a reality of being a South African content creator. Also, this is what people think is my studio. It's actually my house. So if you still don't know that I'm doing all of this from my home, then I don't know. But that is essentially what I want to do. More of these cool things. But I need you guys to please help me out by donating 50 Rand or more into this account. You know, we're fighting for multi-choice. And for multi-choice, but there are subscription models all over the place. And I'd love to give the biggest quality while also being able to pay my rent and do things like that. That is where your money is going. And I promise to give you only the best content that I can if you do throw something in. So I just wanted to show you guys what I want to do with your money. I want to take this South African football and fulfill my dream of taking it into the future. But thank you guys so much. Remember, this is the bank account that you deposit into. Get back into the video.
Number 5.
On the good side, Tove made a comeback. I think Tove can't do 90 minutes. At times he gets tired. But I think it was a continuation of what Udi Tlokwe had. And for all of the complaining I've done now, there were only a couple of chances where Sundowns made the defense look bad. So it's a defensive solidity that maybe we've been missing this season. And hopefully we continue with this. Hopefully Nabi realizes that this might be the answer instead of the answer for the big games. And then when we go play somebody else, he plays cross. So it was good to see Tove making a comeback. It was good to see him playing sort of, I'm going to say, that left centre back type role in a 3. More than he was a left back. But yeah, great to see him come back into the game. Great to see him give some solidity to the defense.
Number 4.
Like I said, Chiefs creates chances. Chiefs, the chaos that Chiefs brings creates a lot of chances. And down to that problem of decision making finishing. That is what is holding us. That is what is holding Chiefs' attackers back. Bomodi, Boshabalala, Bomoris, Bolilepo need to do a much better job, because on the other side, their counterparts. There's a reason why Ribeiro's leading the charts, followed by Reynas. Reynas hasn't scored in a while, but he raced to 9 already before the season was hot. You know, you need to finish. And you can have all of the forward play in the world, but if you don't finish those things, you'll suffer. But the fact that they're creating chances is a good thing. The fact that they created chances versus Sundowns, I think, should be credit that's given to them for being positive in that game.
Number 3.
Ucele, guys. Ucele. I wish I could take Cele and Mthethwa and merge them into one player. Because what the control that he gives us, you know, there was a time where Kaizer Chiefs was trying to play up the ball and they'd consistently lose the ball because Mart is not up to trapping the ball and turning, doesn't have a good under pressure pass. Uzwane is a little bit too relaxed. Castillo started losing the ball quite a bit. It's so refreshing to see a player who can take the ball, trap the ball, turn, play a pass, trap the ball, beat a player or two with a smart turn, play a pass. It takes so much pressure off of the defense, especially when we're in possession. Yazi, masibona bomart lapha, you worry ukuthi bazoluza le ball. But Ucele, man, he's so majestic. The only issue is that Ucele is being asked to also do the defensive part, and that's why he's got so many yellow cards. Or he's racking up the yellow cards. He's not that player. So Nabi, could you please pair him with someone? I even said, you know, do something drastic. You know, I remember Carlo Ancelotti's AC Milan, if I'm not mistaken, when Pirlo was playing the deep line playmaker role, the regista role. It would be Pirlo, it would be Kaká, I think, and then you'd have Seedorf and Gattuso next to them. So when you play the ball up, you can play the ball through Cele. But when we're defending, you have two players who can cover. It's very similar to Allende having Mokwena and Kutsia in the midfield, right? If Cele was Mokutsia, like, it would be incredible. But having Cele and Kutsia, having Mokwena and Kutsia in midfield who are doing the dirty work, when he's asked to do the dirty work himself, it doesn't look good. So maybe next time we can see Mthethwa playing with him, and hopefully that would be incredible to see Mthethwa, Cele, Sirino, Mthethwa, Cele, Matlou, Mthethwa, Cele, Zwane, like I said, maybe Zwane in the 10. I think that could be really, really dangerous, and I think the future looks bright.
Number 2.
You play low block, they beat you. You play mid block, they beat you. You play counter attacking, they beat you. You play pound for pound, they beat you. They're tired, but they beat you. Guys, Sundowns is incredible. And Sundowns is incredible because they've got so many answers to any questions you could ask. In the PSL, very rarely does a team have 1 or 2 answers. Sundowns is playing CAF 4-5. You know, this game, they couldn't press. So they said, okay, Chiefs, have the ball. Have the ball. Today, we're going to try pop it beyond your defense. We're just going to pop it over and try find Reynas in behind your defense because everybody's tired. We can't press up top. Imagine coming into a game knowing that you're tired and still winning that game. And it's not even that the tactic worked, but it's that you could see a team that's thinking and changing. If you look at Chiefs in the second half, those changes did nothing to the game. Those changes didn't do anything to that game. You could argue there were some chances missed, sure. Mara by and large, a lot of the second half subs that Nabi makes don't have an impact. And there's Mamelodi Sundowns, who are able to play 6 or 7 ways. And I know people are going to go, no, it's the quality of play and all of that stuff. Guys, sometimes you just have to understand your players. Okay, Reinas, you're not good at dropping back. For this game, we're going to use you just running in behind, up to the point where you can bend your run properly and find Ribeiro in the box. But we're going to, Yazi, the simplest things are often the hardest to do. And what I love about Cardoso, and what I love about Jose at times, is that they don't complicate the game. What do we need to do in this game? Okay, guys, this is how we're going to set up, go do it. But more than anything, I think the number one thing has to be that man, Lucas Ribeiro Costa. He just typifies why Sundowns is so great. When you need him to play tactical football, he plays it. When you need him to drop back, there was a time where Sundowns was dropping back midfield-wise, he does it. When you need him to be the 10 and pass the ball, he does it. When you need him to pop up in a 0-0 game and score one of the best goals I've seen, he does it. That is greatness. It's not, you had a 2-game run where you're incredible. Greatness is, look man, we can count on you. Even games when you have nothing to do with the play and you're out, you can still pop up and do something. We are looking at the player of the season. That is the best player in the South African league right now. By far, it's not even close. How many of those players do we have in the league? Do you know what's the difference between Sundowns and what's the difference between Lucas Ribeiro Costa and Mfukeng? It's 12 goals. Do you know what's the difference between him and, let's say, Shabalala? When he gets his one chance and his one shot, he takes it. Now Shabalala got a chance and he was looking at the crowd, trying to hype up the crowd instead of just finishing the ball. That is the difference. It's not rocket science, guys. It really is not rocket science. Those guys know what to do when they need to do it, and they've still got the hunger to go and win all the time. When tired, when overplayed, when everything is going wrong. I give massive amounts of credit to Sundowns because of just that one thing. Adaptation. That is real coaching. We don't coach anymore. We play football manager. I want all of the players that I want. Hey, sometimes you have to make it work. Do not set Sundowns apart from a lot of teams. Maruma Gallants will play an incredible game versus Pirates and not be able to find it versus Richards Bay. Pirates will play an incredible start of the season. And when they meet up on Maruma Gallants, they don't have that thing that takes them over the line. They have to be outplaying a team to be great. Consistency in the team and in the players. And Lucas Ribeiro Costa, knock on wood, he's going to be this consistent throughout the season. And who knows where you go with the season? Who knows? Player of the season for me. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for joining me. Well done to Mamelodi Sundowns for extending that lead even further. I'll see you guys on the next one.